Thanks again for coming tonight, this morning, Comptroller. What is your thoughts around the proposed soccer stadium at Yankee Stadium and the idea of perhaps giving $350 million of taxpayer subsidies, again now, to another rich entity and also potentially the richest man in the world? Do you think that's a smart idea of how we spend our taxpayer subsidies?
I hope in the coming months and years that we can do the kind of analysis on subsidy programs as controllers. This is another area that I'm concerned about. When I was borough president, I spoke out, criticizing a lot of subsidy programs because they really weren't tied to job development, and we have to figure out which subsidies are giveaways and which subsidies actually keep business and keep businesses and expand job opportunities. So what I can tell you is I'll be happy to meet with you so that we can look at ways to identify those issues. Obviously, skylines, as I mentioned earlier, in the boroughs have to change. And economic development projects are good to create real jobs, real health benefits, and the like. You can't just put your head in the sand. And as borough president, I supported university expansion, making sure that we change our skylines, but we did it with the community as partners. It's the only way we're going to create successful development. Part of what I'd like to do now as controller, as I expand my office citywide, is one of the reasons why I'm here is to say to all of you, we're prepared to work with you on issues that the controller can have an impact on the community, to sit down with you, Pastor, to work on these issues. We have a lot of experience after 8 years as Manhattan Borough President doing land use and zoning issues. Now we have to look at that through the lens of the city's chief fiscal officer, making sure that every subsidy has a desired result to expand the economy in local communities. That is the trick. And when those subsidies don't work, we have to say so. And when those subsidies do work, we have to say this is a worthwhile expansion plan and not be afraid of it. So that's what you're going to get from me. Not a knee-jerk approach, but a strategy, long-term economic development strategy that we need throughout the 5 boroughs.
I have 2 questions.
I do.
Can you just give us a preview of what's coming as it relates to what we're hearing about Rikers and insurance rising in the South, in different areas? So can you talk a little bit about the Rikers Island piece that's going on? Is that too premature now? And then the second piece, if you want to wait, that's fine. But the second piece is that of senior fraud. If you can talk to
part of what our office is going to be looking at from a local perspective. Everyone thinks, well, the controller is up here, right? You look at the budget, you deal with the $150 billion pension fund. So for those of you who have pensions, my job is to protect those pensions. That's retirement security for hundreds of thousands of people. We work on those issues every day. I know it's a tremendous responsibility, but we also have to think about the finances of New Yorkers. And we are putting in place real financial literacy programs, real programs looking to help our seniors, especially when it relates to fraud and misappropriation of monies. And I think, Rev, you're going to be very pleased with the kind of programs that our Community Affairs Office will put forth in all communities around the city. And we want to engage the religious community. We need your help. So if we have a financial literacy program or a senior fraud program, we want to partner with community-based organizations. We want to bring other resources into the community from other experts so that we can begin to help people financially and also make sure our seniors are protected. One of the programs we did as borough president, which I want to bring citywide, is a program that worked with the banks, hear me on this, worked with the banks to come up with a financial product that would allow people of modest means to open up bank accounts. So if you had a bad financial history, you had another shot with this banking protocol. We worked with the FDIC, we brought all the major banks together in the borough, and guess what? I was able to open up 12,000 bank accounts in places like El Barrio, Harlem, places where people had just given up. I believe it is essential and complicated. I believe that people must open up bank accounts. You can't keep the money in the pillow. If you're a small business owner, you need to create a financial history. One small store can become 5 stores, right? If you have access to credit, how do you establish access to credit? You have to have a bank account. And then you have to have a proven track record on capital. That's the whole issue of women and minority-owned businesses. The reason we need to access contracts is because you have to showcase what you can do so that you can expand and then partner with big organizations. So there's a lot that goes into this. We want to help the seniors. We also want to help families open up bank accounts. At the end of the day, we also want to make sure our children understand the world of credit and financial literacy. So you got to read a spreadsheet. You got to read a credit report. So many kids are struggling that by the time they get to their 20s, they can't buy anything, no matter what job they have. And that's something that we have to change. And part of that is how we approach our young people in the world of financial literacy, which is critical for their economic well-being. Look, this town is getting more complicated. Financial industry is getting more complicated. We have to figure out ways to engage our young people in all our communities. We've got a lot of banks opening, right? They all seem to open for a reason. But I worry that the people who are opening up bank accounts are not the people that we need to open up bank accounts. And I want to bring that service to the Power and Controller's office, working with the banks to give everyone that opportunity.
Thank you,